By default, the Windows Remote Desktop functionality is limited to your local network. If you wish to access Remote Desktop from outside your network, I can guide you through the necessary steps. Before you begin, ensure that Remote Desktop is enabled on the PC you intend to access. Take note of the username and password for this PC, as you will need them for remote login from other devices. If you use a Microsoft account to create your Windows user account, the username and password will be your Microsoft account email and password. The next step involves exposing Remote Desktop directly to the Internet by implementing port forwarding on your router. As different routers have varying interfaces, specific instructions cannot be provided here. However, I'll outline the basic steps using a TP-Link router as an example. Ensure that you are connected to your network. First, identify the IP address of the PC running Remote Desktop. The simplest way to do this is by opening the command prompt and entering the IP protocol configuration command. Note down the IPv4 address. You may also consider setting up a static IP address on the computer to prevent changes. Now, log into your router and navigate to the port forwarding section. Here, forward port 3389 to the IP address of the remote PC. Also, record the WAN IP address of your router. If your WAN IP address is not static, setting up a dynamic DNS service might be necessary to ensure a consistent connection, even if the IP address changes. Let's quickly set up a dynamic DNS service. You can skip these steps if you have a static WAN IP. I'll use the NoIP DNS service, but your router may have a different service provider. Register a free NoIP account, copy your hostname, and enter it in the domain name field. Input your NoIP username and password, enable DDNS, and log into the dynamic DNS service. Once set up, you won't need to worry about your public IP address changing. Remember the domain name you've chosen, as it will be crucial for connecting to the remote PC. With all these configurations in place, you are now ready to see if you can connect to the remote PC from a different network. I'm on another computer connected to a different network. To connect to the remote PC over the Internet, you can use the built-in Remote Desktop app in Windows. This app is also available on the Microsoft Store, Google Play Store, and Apple App Store, making it accessible from Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. To initiate a new connection, enter the public IP address of the remote PC, which is essentially the WAN IP of your router. If your router's WAN IP is static, enter the IP address directly. If you've set up a dynamic DNS service, enter the domain name associated with it. Provide the Windows username and password for the remote desktop. The connection to the remote computer should start promptly.